Hello YouTube, this is Ahoy. So, on this week's tutorial I'm going to show you how you can prepare your backing tracks for live use. Okay, so let's get the basic building blocks together. So what we need is a playback system and in-ear monitoring system for the drummer, and we need the backing tracks. So the backing tracks usually is pretty simple. It's a click track and audio track of the start that will come from the backing tracks. For example, if you're a rock band and you will have like backing vocals or strings or something like that, you just put them to one mono track, and then on the other track you have a click track that goes tick tock 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 tick tock tock, and the drummer will only hear that on his in-ear monitoring system. And the in-ear monitoring system can vary a lot, but usually the cheapest option is that you buy a very small mixer and that has a headphone amp option, and then you get like a cheap pair of headphones or in-ear plugs. They usually range from everything between 20 euros to 300 depending how much you want to spend on them. But I suggest that you buy, the regular kind of, something better than iPod earbuds, but something that blocks the sound, and usually they cost about 50. That's a good rule of thumb. And the small mixer that I use is a Behringer one. I think it costs like 60 euros. So combining that to a few cables and a DI box, you can get away with like 100 to 200 euros easily. Alright, and what we will start with is that we need a few cables. We need a mini plug to either RCAs, or to mini jacks, but it's up to you. I'm using the adapters. They cost like maybe €1 a piece. And then what you need is a small mixer, like this one for example, and a set of headphones, and an iPod or similar MP3 player. And what we'll do now is that we go to Arduino and we will prepare the tracks. And what we need to do is that Cubase actually doesn't have a click that you can output. So what we need to do is that we make a new track. Let's make a new virtual instrument with the Groove Agent. Okay, so here we have a Groove Agent, and let's take like Big Beat Kit for example. And then what we need is a cowbell and something else to give the accent. So let's check it out. Okay, so here is our cowbell. And for the accent, let's use something else. Or we can just... Okay, so it's A2. So let's make a new MIDI track. Route that to the Groove Agent. And then we make one bar. Set the grid to quarter notes, A2. And then let's set the first one velocity to max. So. And then what we do is we just... Okay, so this song is about 105 bars long, but we need a kind of a pre-roll for the drummer. So what we do is we select everything, so Command A, and then we move everything 2 bars forward. Alright. And then we move the MIDI back, and then we press Command K, or go to Edit, Functions, Repeat. And this song was about 105 bars long, so let's make 107 bars of click. Use shared copies, and then we remove the excess ones, so about here. And then what we do is that we extend the end so that we have about, a few bars silence, so that the drummer has time to actually stop the playback. And what I have done is that I have muted the tracks that won't be in the backing tracks. So in this case they won't be drums, bass, guitars, and the main vocals. But there will be backing vocals, extra guitars, effect guitars, and the sampler. This is a cover of a Linkin Park song, so I can't really play it to you. Okay, so next thing what we do is that we make a mono bus. Notice, a mono bus. Or actually, let's make it a stereo, because there might be some stereo stuff, so it might not go very well otherwise. So then I select all the tracks except the so then I select all the tracks except the click track. Then I go to the mixer view. I have selected them here. So then I press down. Actually, no, because I have done some processing and routing already. So I won't be routing these, because these are already going to these buses. So I'm going to be routing this one, and this one, and this one, and this one to the new group. And we will name this backing track. Okay, so on that track, what we need to do is we need to make it mono. And we can make it a few ways. Easiest way is that you take the dual banner, right click on the mixer view, and then just move the right one there. But if you have some good DAW like Logic that doesn't have this kind of function, you just take a free plugin by Brainworks called BX Solo, use the stereo width to mono, and then you just pan it to left. So then you just pan it to left. Okay, so now it's mono. And this is the click track. Then what we do is that we route it to right. And I suggest that you put some kind of a limiter on there, so that it's what I would call, loud as fuck. So let's try. I have it on solo. Yeah, something like that. And then on the backing track, what you do is that you use a limiter just to make sure that it doesn't clip. And if it does clip, use the, something that makes the gain lower, like the fader. And that's it. Then you just bounce it out. And then you just select where you want to bounce it. And let's call it a place for my head. Backing track. Okay, and then what you do, because we are doing a mono, it doesn't really matter, just use a high quality MP3, insert ID3 tag if you want. Actually, it's a good idea to add the ID3 tag so you know what the song is when you browse it on iPod. But anyway, I guess you know how to bounce out a track, so you just click export here and then it's done. But let's get back to the real world. Alrighty then. Okay, so now that we have done all that stuff, put our songs on the iPod, we have the left track as audio, right track as audio. So in my case, right track is the red one, left track is the black one, so I won't be repeating it further. So then what you need is a DI box. This is a Behringer, very cheap one, very noisy one. I don't recommend it to anybody, but it will do the job if you don't have anything else. It costs about 20 bucks. Anyway, so what you do is that you take the signal and you put the signal, that's not the click, you put it to the DI box. And then the track that is the click, you put it to a free. For example, this one, when you have only one track there, it's a mono, so you put it to the mono channel. So now you have the click going straight to the drummer's ear and he can control the volume himself. And this is crucial that it doesn't go to the front of house mixer, because some of front of house mixers can't send a signal so that it doesn't go to the PA. So you take the click right away and the mixer guy, you don't have to bother with that. And the drummer will have his own volume control. Also, if the drummer also wants to control the amount of the backing track himself, he can just take, a regular cable, instrument cable like this, and then use the true on the DI box, connect it to that, and then into an available slot. So I have it connected to the true, and then on an available track you just connect it to the mixer. Okay, so now the drummer has his own volume controls for the backing track and the click. And next what we'll do is that we have the DI box that will have an XLR connected here. This is actually a broken cable, as you can see. It doesn't have a connector on the other end, but it will do for this demonstration purposes. So you connect the XLR on the DI box there, and then you take it to the stage box or the mixer, and then the sound guy will do its thing, and then they will use monitor sends. And with the drummer's listening system here, you will connect it with an XLR cable. Usually it's an XLR. If it's not, you can also use a plug like we have here. So you connect the XLR here, bam, and then you use the trim and the volume, and then the front of house guy will, or the motor engineer, will send you a mix of the rest of the band there. Okay, so what the drummer has is a mix of the rest of the band, the backing track and the click. And remember never to let the tracks clip, because it can cause permanent hearing damage. And after that, what we do is that we take the headphones, connect them to the headphone jack, then we set the volume so that it's cool, and then we connect the iPod to this thing, and then we just, play the music, and yeah, we have sound. Alright, I hope that this tutorial was useful to you. Leave some comments below, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. I make new videos every week, or at least try to do. Anyway, thank you for watching, and make good music. So we connect one of the ends to a DI box. Let me see if I have one. Okay, so here is the shittiest DI box you can... Okay, so here is the DI box that I bought. It was my first DI box. Don't recommend it to anybody. Okay, and